Coverage of the KeyBank Air Show at Seafair is presented by KeyBank, proud sponsor of the KeyBank Air Show.
We're awaiting the appearance, and we've actually picked it up, not over the course yet, but getting into position to begin the program here at Seafair. That's Fat Albert, the support plane for the Blue Angels. We are talking with Lieutenant Amy Tomlinson, who's the events coordinator for the United States Navy. How does one become the events coordinator?
Well, I feel very lucky, first of all. I've been in the Navy 9 years and applied to want to be a member of the Blue Angels, and the only position for an NFO, a Naval Flight Officer, on the team is the events coordinator. And we plan lots of events that seem pretty basic as far as hotel rooms and rental cars and stuff like that, but we also plan a lot that involves aviation, to do with aerobatic boxes and the FAA. So they'd like to have someone who has aviation experience to be the events coordinator.
So pretty much nothing happens with respect to the Blue Angels when you're on the road that doesn't go through your office.
For the most part, we do set everything up ahead of time, and execution, and it's a day-to-day, every minute is planned out in every detail for our whole year.
All right, I've been told we want to do this tweet now, so we'll get to it. From Butler, this is a tweet. How much stress is placed on the planes during the high versus low speed demonstrations? And I guess we can say both for Fat Albert, but more specifically the Blue Angels, the FA-18s themselves.
Well, for the jets, the stress, I would assume you're asking, is G-forces. And you'll see the planes, the Diamond primarily flying is going to be flying between 1 and 3 Gs, where the solo pilots are going to be maximum performance demonstrators, pulling the maximum Gs 7.5 times the force of gravity, multiple times throughout the demonstration. And
as we saw the pilots walking out on the flight line a few moments ago, they don't wear pressure suits. They wear a jumpsuit just like you have.
Absolutely. They do not wear pressure suits, and that's due to the being able to have their arm placed on their leg and not have the pressure suit filling up with air back and forth. It allows them to keep their arms steady exactly where they want that to be.
Well, the music has started, and that can mean but one thing, that Fat Albert is over the course and in the house, and there is Fat Albert. What kind of aircraft? What do you expect of Fat Albert? What does it mean to have it for the Blue Angels?
Fat Albert is a huge part of our team. It's a C-130 transport aircraft. The C-130 Hercules is what it's called, and we couldn't do our job without Fat Albert. Fat Albert has 3 Marine Corps pilots, Major Drew Hess and Brendan Burks and Edward George, and then they have an all-Marine crew as well that make sure that airplane is up and ready to go. All of us travel in Fat Albert when we come to a show site. So you can fit up to 55 passengers in there, plus all the parts and equipment and everything that you need to get to a particular show.
Do they ever let you jump in the in 7, which has the 2 seats, and fly in one of the jets?
Yes, sir. That's my position. That's where I fly, in the back seat of 7. 7 and 8 go everywhere together, and the rest of the team, the pilots fly 1 through 6, and then the Fat Albert pilots fly the rest of the maintainers, and that's how we get to the show.
Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see in this demonstration by Fat Albert.
Well, Fat Albert is put together about a 10-minute demo. It goes before the jets, and it just shows you the maximum capabilities of the C-130. When it's performing in combat over in Iraq and Afghanistan, it has the ability to go into any airstrip. It can go into really small runways, which is huge in the case where we're maybe going into a land where there's not a lot of concrete to land on. It can taxi backwards. It can land at just 2,500 feet. And what you're going to see right now is him executing a maximum performance 45-degree nose-up climb for a takeoff maneuver.
We see so much of jets. Is there a reason why? Is it perform better for you, for Fat Albert, and for what you're asking of this aircraft to have it as a propeller-driven aircraft?
You mean versus other C-130s? Any C-130 can do what Fat Albert's doing. This is just a demonstration to show you the maximum capabilities at any given time in a 10-minute span. And is that the weightless moment there when you reach that top and all of a sudden everybody comes off the floor? That's one of the most fun parts of the ride, actually. You're 0G, you go up to the ceiling if you're not strapped down. Our Jenny Hogan, who is one of our pit reporters and our traffic reporter, was on the flight at the end of the week, as a matter of fact, and she did very well. She was a little green, but she did very, very well. Riding in Fat Albert is I got to do it the first time in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I was blown away. I've seen it from the ground, but I had never experienced it from the air. And having flown for 9 years, I still had never experienced anything like it.
I mentioned when we showed you on camera a few moments ago that you flew combat missions as well.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was on the USS Roosevelt, and we went over to Iraq twice, in the Persian Gulf and also in the Med. F-14s primarily. They're now been retired since then, but both of my deployments were in F-14 Tomcats, the D model. And the missions were, we were very well prepared for them. They were typically long, 6.5 hour flights off of an aircraft carrier and then back at the end of the day.
What you and the rest of the pilots do in defense of this country, we very much appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Here comes Fat Albert again. What are we going to see here?
Fat Albert's coming back from behind the crowd to the left, and he's going to be doing a parade pass. Just kind of coming by and turning his wings and showing you that turn capability. He's right there.
Here he comes now.
It's about 350 knots. Sorry, 250 knots.
Look at him tip up on that wingtip like that.
Yeah. Next, he's going to come around. It'll take a couple minutes. He's going to come around and do the Fat Albert flat pass.
It's amazing the agility of a plane that size. It's I use the word, it's almost like a big offensive lineman in the NFL. They're huge, they're strong, but they're very nimble.
They are, definitely. And the C-130's been around for a really long time.
So is Fat Albert now. Circles back out to our south and west. Prepare to swing back over the shores of Lake Washington. We'll let you know that the Blue Angels are getting set. They're preparing. They'll be taking off here in the not too distant future. In fact, there they are.
They are at the hold short, it looks like, waiting to take off.
Again, all timed with the performance here of Fat Albert as well. Everything is down to the second.
Yes, sir. One of the things Fat Albert does for us that you might not know is as a support role aircraft, for example, if anything goes wrong with the jets, we bring a lot of tools with us in order to fix the jets. But last week we took a bird down in one of the engines, and we needed to get a whole new engine, which is quite large, and we don't carry extra engines around with us. So Fat Albert has the ability to fly home to Pensacola or Miramar, wherever an engine would be that we can get our hands on, put it in the back of the C-130 and bring it back. Then our expert maintainers who work around the clock, which this just happened last week, will change out the bad engine, put in a new engine, and get the jets ready for the demonstration to fly that next day.
We know from commercial aircraft and a story earlier this year, it can be catastrophic if you take a bird in.
It is definitely. These engines, the F-18, each time we've been lucky with the bird we took, actually the pilot didn't even notice it. The engine just didn't skip a beat, landed, and then on a post-flight inspection, we realized that there was some damage to the engine blades.
So Fat Albert continues, and here is the takeoff of the Blue Angels from Boeing Field. A spectacular sight. They take off through the diamond floor.
Yes, sir.
Almost in formation.
That is the diamond taking off in formation. You'll see number 4 is going to slide into that slot position. And then right behind them is 5 and 6, the 2 solo pilots.
They were taking off as well. Fat Albert continues, and then we'll clear the airspace, and we're getting set for the Blue Angels performance over the shores of Lake Washington. It is Seafair. It's a great day to be in the Northwest, and we'll be back with the Navy Blue Angels after this.